Hey, it's Mr. E here, and let's get to our learning target. So here's the first example. It says that triangle ABC has angle B 90 degrees, and the sine of A is 5/9. Find the values of the trig ratios below. Okay, so what do we know about triangle ABC? Well, the first thing we are told is that angle B is 90, so I'm going to make sure that I make angle B 90. Then we're also told that the sine of A is 5/9. So let me show you how we use that. So angle B is 90, and then we're told that the sine of A is 5/9. Now you'll recall that the sine of theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, right? So when they are telling us that the sine of A is 5/9, they're telling us also that the opposite side is 5 and that the hypotenuse is 9 of this right triangle. So the opposite side is 5 and that the hypotenuse is 9, right? That the sides are in that ratio. All right, so now in order for us to find the cosine of A and the tan of A, we need to figure out what this missing side AB is. So use the Pythagorean theorem to find that missing side. So you're going to get A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So after doing the Pythagorean theorem, we get that the missing side is radical 56. Now, can we simplify radical 56? Yes, we can. This can be simplified with radical 4 times radical 14. So we can say that in simplest form, the missing side is 2 radical 14. So let's use that. Let's use 2 radical 14 for this missing side. Okay, now we can say what the cosine of A is. The cosine we know is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent side to A is 2 radical 14. So we get 2 radical 14 over the hypotenuse, which is 9. So that's the cosine of A. And then the tan of A is opposite over adjacent, right? Tan is opposite over adjacent. So that's 5/2 radical 14. So that's the tan of A. That's the cosine of A. Okay, let's move on to something else. Let's do a quick investigation here. So if you got a calculator, do this along with me. Take out your calculator, and I just want you to compare the values here. So it says to compare, and by the way, make sure you're in degree mode. So it says to compare the sine of 20 with the cosine of 70. So let's see what happens when I take the cosine of 70. Well, that's interesting. The sine of 20 equals the cosine of 70. I wonder if that means something. Let's continue. The sine of 65, and let's compare that to the cosine of 25. Interesting. They're also the same. One more. The sine of 88, let's compare that to the cosine of 2. Interesting, they're the same. So what do you notice? Well, you should notice that these are all equal to each other, right? So that's an equal sign there. So what could we conclude then if we have the sine of A equals the cosine of B? What could we conclude about A and B? What did you notice about these angles here? You know what you should have noticed? They're complementary, right? A plus B equals 90. So let's see if we could use that in some examples. If the cosine of x equals the sine of 50, find the value of x that makes the equation true. Well, as you could see, these are co-functions, sine and cosine. That's what I mean by that they're co-functions. So since they're co-functions, we know that x plus 50 must be 90. So that means x is 40. And you can check this for yourself. You can take out the calculator, type in the cosine of 40, and type in the sine of 50, and you'll see that they're both the same, right? And they're supposed to be, because there's an equal sign there right in the middle. Let's try one more example. If the cosine of 3x equals the sine of x plus 10, find the value of x. So what have we said? We've said that these two are supposed to add up to 90. So we could write 3x plus x plus 10 equals 90 degrees, and then we can solve this equation. We get 4x plus 10 equals 90. We'll get 4x equals 80, and we'll get x equals 20. That's the final answer. All right, let's summarize this video. Summary: you can find the other trig ratios by using Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side, and that's what we did in example 1. Then for examples 2 and 3, you should have learned that in an equation with co-functions on each side, the angles add up to 90. That is, they are complementary. All right, I hope this video helps. Take care.